familiar. I could not recognize, 'cause you had blood on your face. I had blood in
What
my
is love? Yeah, I know this might sound like a petty question, and I had serious doubts about doing a video on such a theme. But then I thought better. Philosophers and scientists alike have shown a great deal of interest in this particular area of our lives. And not only that, think about the amount of time that the average person spends thinking about, well, mostly romantic love, and how it profoundly shapes most of our adult lives. Most of the literature I've read on love refers to three types of love. The first one is eros, which is romantic love. The second one is philia, which is a kind of love that arises in a friendship. And the third one is agape, which is the unconditional love. Now, bear with me. I'm going to explain all of these terms better throughout my series. I just want to mention that the whole point of my inquiry is to settle an internal conflict which arose during one of my seminars. We were talking about unconditional love, which is agape, and my claim was that this kind of love is a rather thought behavior. It is an ideal and not a feeling or emotion that was particularly useful to human evolution, as it is the case for romantic love and for the kind of love that arises in a friendship. I'll probably structure this theme in a series of three videos because it is quite bulky. And I want to talk about what I consider to be the natural types of love first, and then give my account of why unconditional love is an ideal or a construct. Now, in what concerns romantic love, I would like to tell you a very old story which still persists in a form of another nowadays. It is the myth of the origins of love that can be found in Plato's Symposium. And it goes this way. A long, long time ago, humans were different from what we are now. They had spherical bodies which consisted of two parts that were merged together. Each human had two faces facing the opposite direction, and all else legs, ears, arms to match. They walked both forwards and backwards, and ran by turning cartwheels on their 8 limbs, moving in circles like their parents, the planets. There are three sexes: male, which was descended from the sun; female, which was descended from the earth; and finally androgynous, which was descended from the moon. As they were powerful and unruly, and threatening to climb Olympus, Zeus, the king of gods, devised to cut them in two. Uh, and he even threatened to cut them in two again, so that they might hop on one leg. After that, Apollo, the god of light, then turned their heads to make them face their wound, pulled their skin around to cover up, and tied it together at the navel. He made sure to leave a few wrinkles, which came to be known as the abdomen, and played a very important role in reminding humans about their punishment. After that, human beings longed for their other half so much that they searched for it all over, and when they found it, they wrapped themselves around it very tightly and did not want to let go. As a result, they started dying from hunger and self neglect. And Zeus kind of took pity on them and moved their genitals at the front so that those who were previously androgynous would be able to procreate, and those who were previously male would be able to obtain satisfaction and then move on. Uh, I find this ancient account of how love came to be very interesting because it gives a mythical perspective of why we feel in a certain way when we are in love. And myth has this power to get to your soul, doesn't it? For example, when it speaks about the fact that human beings long for their other half, and when they met, they wrapped themselves together and they don't want to let go. This sounds very familiar. I am sure that most of you have experienced this emotion of not wanting to let go of your partner. Especially happens during the first couple of months, during the first stages of love, when you feel like you need to spend time with your partner, and you do spend most of your time together. Unfortunately, now I will start a process of disenchantment in order to see how all these types of love relate to each other. I know that science doesn't exactly feel right, but many articles and studies suggest that love is the mechanism that allows for human survival and flourishing. Love acts as the emotional mortar which binds individuals to one another in spite of changing circumstances. And the reason why I start with eros, or romantic love, is because I believe it to be the most basic form of love. It leads to procreation and consequently to the continuity of our species. As the human race has evolved, this basic instrument of nature has become a complex interplay between biology, cultural, and environmental influences. Our thirst for meaning and the complexity of our thought has determined us to idealize this emotion, and the emotive dimension in which we experience has grown tenfold. Uh, Most of the time, it takes our breath away. Um, what makes us fall in love with a person, though? This is a theme for another video, I'm afraid. But I will briefly mention that I believe it to be a mixture of both physically attractive features and some features that were identify with the opposite sex parent, which are related to the person that satisfied all our necessities during our childhood. And regardless of our subjective and very passionate experience of love, there seem to be universal aspects that apply to it and that allow us to categorize it as love. In the book Philosophy of Love, Sex and Marriage, I managed to find 6 defining features for romantic love. Um, the first one is that it is the type of love that people have for each other, unlike the love we can bear for one of our passions, like gaming, maybe. If the second one is that if reciprocated, it usually manifests between two and not more people, unlike the mutual love between friends. The third one is that it usually has or begins with a sexual dimension. The fourth one is that it involves very strong emotions and desires between the lovers, such as care and concern for the other's well being and happiness. The fifth one is that in most of the cases it ends up in marriage or and procreation. And finally, the sixth one is that it generates social and moral expectations, such as the amount of time that we spend together and the prioritization of the other half. Now, these features are not all necessary for erotic love, but if 3 or more are missing, the whole picture starts to become a bit blurry. And in my next video, we'll see that certain features in here are very similar to the feature that philia has. Uh, in the ending, I would like to say that I am not sure how I will conclude my series. I am still doing research with regards to unconditional love, but I think that the journey is all that matters, and I hope you will enjoy it with me. Uh, I will post all my readings and resources in the video description so that you can explore the subject if you'd like to. And my next video will be about philia, or the love that arises between friends. If you enjoy watching this video, please like and comment. Everything I say is completely open to discussion, and I love engaging in such conversations with other people. And until the next time, I hope you have a great day and a great week.